All right. Again, I'm using the live feature in lieu of editing a video and putting all that time and effort into it and then uploading it and such. So I don't know. So there's I didn't put like a premiere time or so I don't expect anybody or very, very few to catch this as it's happening. But I just want to make sure I have everything set up on the YouTubes. And did I have that? Okay. So let me go back over here because at least this tells me if anybody's watching. Not that I care, because like I said, this is the equivalent of a video that I upload. I'm just not doing that because unless there's some editing that needs to be done, I don't see why I should waste all that time with the upload. This is just automatically gets posted and I don't really have to do anything. So my last video, I'm going to make some amendments. I was wrong about a few things and I'm going to correct those. Now, at the time of the last video, I was like done with this whole thing. I kind of had said, all right, doesn't matter if it was real or not. It's all about the direction that the reason they did it, regardless of, like I said, whether it was real or not. It's all about where they're heading. And we're starting to see now some of what they're doing as far as, I don't think we're even close to knowing exactly why or all the reasons, but some of them, it's starting to get a little more clear. But as far as the event itself, I didn't really care because, like I said, it either happened or it didn't, but that's not going to change where they're going with it. But there were some things I got wrong and I want to correct those. And I wasn't even going to look back into any of it, except there was one thing that happened where I went, okay, it's sort of like in the Butler, Pennsylvania thing. If they would have just left it really basic, like, you know, there were some shots, they ushered him off into a thing, took off, but it's like they can't help themselves. They have to keep putting more and more like puzzle pieces out there. I think they could have gotten away. I mean, I still wouldn't have really bought the Butler PA thing because of just basic ballistics, how all that works. None of it made sense. But all the little things they did with my shoes and they're really like clearly not Secret Service and their behavior and the My Pillow thing on the ear, they took it too far. All right. If they had left it really basic, I think they could have maybe kind of pulled it off. This one, it seemed like they did that, like what that should have been during just the event itself. But then they started adding on to it, and all these things started piling up afterwards that don't reflect reality. But there was one main thing, and I'll get to it a little bit later, that made me revisit everything because it was so poorly done, over the top and obvious, that I was like, wait a minute, if this part isn't real, then let me go back and take a look at some other stuff that I thought I kind of had understood and moved on. Now, I'm not making any claims. All right. I'm going to say that right up front. I don't know. You don't know. Nobody's ever going to know. There's probably a handful of people on the earth today that will ever know exactly what went down and why. I think the why we're going to get a pretty good idea of in the not too distant future. We're already starting to kind of see the push, but I think roundups, internment camps, that kind of thing. I know it sounds crazy, but I think it's going to be easier for the conservative base, the MAGA people, to accept what's coming if it starts with the people they perceive as the evil enemies. So if it's done to the evil enemies, good. But then when it then turns on them, not so good. But what are they going to do at that point? Too late. Because like that saying about first they came for the so-and-sos and I did nothing. Then they, it's going to, that's basically the formula they're using. But like I said, there was one topic that changed everything for me. So I went back to revisit. Now, initially, I thought he was wearing a vest because of, I could see something under his shirt. It was, and to me, it kind of resembled a vest. However, having gone back, I've noticed some anomalies. I'm going to share, I have a bunch of still images I'm going to share. One, and bear with me, this won't be super fast because I'm terrible at this kind of crap. One thing I just want to, so the vest, the ricochet and all that, that can be completely scrubbed. I didn't believe it anyway because I didn't think he was wearing a plate. There was no way he had something that bulky under him, so there was no way it could ricochet. But I did think he had like just a pistol vest type thing on, a thin Kevlar vest. I'm now convinced, no, he did not. Some more images and some stuff have come out. But the other thing people talk about is in that the most famous video, phone video, the black thing on his shirt above the F that moves, and then they say it ends up on his neck. Okay, it doesn't end up on his neck. It literally flies off his shirt. I believe it's a magnet. And here's a image from earlier, before this isn't from that video. It's crappy quality because when I tried to download the photo itself, it wouldn't let me. So I had to screenshot kind of a smaller version and blow it up. But you see the black thing there on his shirt. I believe that's a magnet strip, and it's holding something under his shirt. It's anchoring. It's an anchor point. So he's got something under his shirt here, and that black magnet strip is keeping it where it's at. Could be a microphone. If that is a magnet strip, and I saw a better picture of it, like kind of from above his shoulder looking down, and you could totally see it's like a rectangle, really clear. I don't know where I saw that picture. I didn't grab it when I saw it, which is another thing people should understand is anytime a major event happens that seems like, okay, this is going to change stuff, this is probably an agenda, I highly recommend, and I kind of screwed up on this, is to download any video and photos you can find immediately, grab them, because they will scrub. They're already scrubbing some stuff. It's already getting hard to find certain images and videos from this particular event, and within a year, you'll probably won't be able to find anything. You have to archive this stuff, get it off the web, and put it on a external drive or a thumb drive or something. Because the image I saw the other day of this close-up of this black thing on his shirt was really, really good. Like you could tell it was like a rectangle. It looked like a magnet, but it could, I don't know, it could be whatever. I don't think this is the photo, but there's one where you can literally see like a rectangle under his shirt right below that magnet. Like that's what it's holding in there. I don't know what it is. Some people say, oh, it's a microphone. I don't know. He's holding a microphone. I don't. But there's something underneath. You can see it. It kind of looks like a tube. And one thing I noticed looking at these photos is if you look at the collar of his shirt, the right side of his shirt, which would be our left side, in multiple photos, it droops. And that makes sense if this magnet is holding on to something under his shirt that's got a little bit of weight to it. It would pull that side of his shirt down. So there's definitely something under his shirt here, because I'll show you. I've got, I don't know, I found like maybe 3 images. Like I said, it's getting harder to find. You're seeing a lot of duplicates, and then to find original photos is getting difficult. So I have like 3 total that show this part of the neck of his shirt on his right or left droops in a bunch of photos. It's like pulled down and kind of out. Like there's something under his shirt here. And I think that magnet is holding it there, and it's pulling that part of his shirt down and out. And you'll see that in some other images. So let me see if I can find like the first image I started with. And I think this is pretty, it's not the exact same photo I'm showing now, but it's pretty close. And this is the one, it's better quality. Now you can see under the magnet, there is what looks like a rectangle, kind of the same, almost the exact same size as the magnet, like a little long, thin box. And you can also see that same side of his shirt on his neck, it's pulled down. There's something, I think that black strip is holding something under his shirt, and it's weighing down that side of his shirt a little bit. This is a lot better picture. You can definitely see there's something under his shirt right there. It looks like like a box. There's also some photos where it looks like there's a tube that runs through here. I'll get to, so the one thing that sold me on it initially was his body's reaction to the moment of impact. I'm like, okay, that's not acting. So I really thought about it. Like, how did the timing and the way his clothing and his hair and his body and everything reacted all at once? And I think I figured it out. I think I know what they did. So let me pull up another image. And this part is just showing how there's definitely something on that side of his shirt that's pulling down and affecting that side of his. Here you can see it again. The left side of his shirt, his left, is flush against his neck and collar and kind of comes around, and then it bows out. And every image I've seen, it's always that side. And you can see there's something underneath it, right where it bows out. Look, follow that, the point of where it bows out. Look, just kind of follow that angle down. There's definitely something there. If you compare that side of his chest to his left side of his chest, over to say the O and the M on Freedom, it's flush against his skin. And then that side, there's clearly something pushing the shirt out. Now, some people think that this dark spot you can see at the base of his throat there is an object. I believe I zoomed in on some photo. I think the same photo. He's wearing a necklace. Okay, so I think that's a chain. I think I zoomed in on this photo, and that is a chain, that dark spot you see. If you zoom in, it's just a necklace. But clearly something under his shirt there. So yeah, I think I have one more showing how that side of his shirt is always poking out. Okay, here it is again. Again, the exact same spot, same, like it comes to a point, like it's being pulled, like tugged down. And you can, again, there's something right below his collar there. You can see on his right side of his chest, there's something there. Again, people go, oh, it's a microphone. He's got a microphone in his hand. I don't think that's a microphone. I mean, it could be. I'm not making any claims. But I think that they would just clip one to his collar. Like, why try and hide it? Like, I mean, you're not trying to be stealthy about it. You've already got what appears to be a black magnet on the white shirt. So, like, you would just clip a mic to his like collar. Like, I don't see why you would kind of half make it stealthy. Like, and it seems like that would also be a muffled audio if it was under his shirt like that. So I don't know what's under his shirt, but I think I know what some of what's under his shirt is, and it explains a couple things. So let's see what else we have here. So this is like an image of the moment where, well, let's see. I have like a little a GIF file that I made. Let me see if hopefully it'll play on. It's 3 images put together, and it's basically about the last, I don't know, maybe 3 to 5 seconds before the shot rings out. And I want to show you something. Now it's going to play in a loop, I think. So I'll try and break it down as to what the 3 photos show. Let's see if this works. Okay, so this is one thing I noticed. So this is like at the very end when he says, gang violence. And then he lowers the mic. So he puts it up to his mouth, says gang violence, lowers his mouth or lowers the mic. So, and then watch, he closes both eyes like he's expecting what's coming next. So it's like, let me see if I can time this. Gang violence, lowers mic, eyes closed. So it's almost like, because right before he said that, he touches his nose. He kind of rubs his nose, almost like because people are focusing on the guys behind him with their baseball signals and stuff, which are actually military signals, which I think is where baseball got a lot of that, is they're actually military hand signals. But he touches his nose right before he lifts the mic up and says, "You mean like gang violence or including gang violence," or whatever he said. And then as soon as he lowers the mic, boom, closes both eyes. And it's like he's expecting. And I think, I'm not making any claims, I think he was expecting it, because I think he gave a signal. So let me remove some of these previous photos that I put up, and then we'll go to the next one and I'll show you something. Almost. Okay, so look at the way, and it's not like he's blinking, because he blinks kind of there, and then it's almost like a prepare for impact. Like he has a different look on his face, both eyes closed. It's like, here it comes. It's kind of the look that he's giving. So let's see. Let's pull up this, like a second after he closes both eyes. I have this image. I want to show you what I think happened. Here we go. Okay, so the one thing you'll notice, now see how his hair is coming down there? That's because there is what you could call an impact, but it's basically his body jerks. And you'll see that the mic, the magnetic clip that was holding his mic, has already started to fly off. It just gets like, because, and see his shirt has, the word freedom, obviously his shirt is lifted up. So I think several things happened at once here. I think this has to do with what was underneath his shirt. Now, and the other thing you'll notice is he grips the microphone for a couple seconds. He can't like let go of it. And then he finally opens his hands and drops the mic. It's because his muscles contracted. He squeezed, he couldn't let go of that mic if he wanted to. But see how his hair comes down? Because if you look, see if I can just click this one up. If you look at his hair here, it's just kind of, it goes pretty much straight across his hairline there. And then if you look at the next one, it drops way down. So, he did flinch or jerk, whatever you want to say. And so at first I was like, okay, the reason I'm buying this is because his body reaction and everything isn't something you could fake. It was and the timing was perfect. And I think I understand why. It's because the speed of electricity. I used to be in law enforcement and I carried a taser. So I had to get tasered in order to carry a taser. So I know what it's like to get tasered and what it does to your body. Okay. What I'm seeing here is someone that's being shocked, basically tasered. I think, this is just speculation, I think he was wired up to take a pretty nice shock. And some people know, most people know, a lot of people don't know, it's not volts that kill you, it's amps. So if you have a very, very low amp, high voltage, because a taser is 50,000 volts, and you hear that and you think, oh my God, 50,000 volts, that'll kill you. It doesn't, because it's very, very low amp. It's the volts. So if he could have been hit with 50,000, or even, it wouldn't take that much to do this. But the way the taser works is when you fire it and the darts penetrate, it it gives you the 50,000 volts for 5 seconds, and then it cuts off. And then after it cuts off, every time you squeeze the trigger, it gives it again, but only as long as you hold the trigger. So you can do it for 10 seconds. You can do it for 1 second. Once the 5-second volt initial is over, it's all manual after that. Every time you squeeze it and hold it, or squeeze it and let go, you get a shock for however long the trigger is held. So if he got hit with, say, 50,000 volts for, I don't know if it was a full 5-second ride that he took, but it was probably 3. And the way you can kind of tell when it's over is when he drops the microphone. Because I can tell you right now, if I was holding something and got tasered, I'm not going to be able to open my hand and drop that item until the ride's over. So, and that would explain the instantaneous, the body reaction, his shirt, everything happens at once, the sound, because I think he was wired. I think he took, 25, 50,000 volts or whatever. And that's why his body reacted the way it did. He had no control over it. I think that's why he closed his eyes, because he knew it was coming. They probably gave him a test ride before, so he kind of knew what it felt like. And he was like, I don't want to feel that again. And he knew it was coming. And so he closed both eyes in anticipation of what was coming. And the other thing that I noticed was the blood. Okay. Something is very wrong with it. So an arterial bleed would not behave the way this did. I think that's one part of this they screwed up. I think the shock and the way his body reacted, I think they nailed it. But I think the blood they screwed up. I think maybe it was supposed to be. I think there was a device that was like basically supposed to pump the blood out, but it more like poured out. It didn't. I don't know if it malfunctioned or if they just figured that overall the entire process would be enough to get most people, which I think it was. But an arterial bleed like that should be pumped. It should be shooting out. It just like basically rolls out. It should have been firing 7-10 feet. And the color's wrong. Arterial blood should be bright red. Granted, he's in like a shaded thing, but still, like you can tell all the colors in the images. You can see the shirt's white, the letters are black, the background, you can see the reds and the blues. There was enough ambient light. It was like around noon. It was a sunny day. There was enough light to where it shouldn't have looked like chocolate pudding. It should have looked much more red. It was way too dark and clumpy. It should have been brighter and basically shooting out. And what was the other? There's another thing about it too. Well, I'll get to some other stuff a little further, but to me, the blood's completely wrong, and the way the blood reacts is completely wrong. It looks clumpy. I think something may have malfunctioned on that part of it. Everything else was going great, and then when the flow started, I don't know if maybe I don't know what they use for like that Hollywood. I don't know. I think there's probably different recipes for making that stuff, but I don't know if it like started to coagulate or if I don't know. It seems like it should have been a lot runnier and brighter red. And again, pumping out. Something may have malfunctioned, but like I said, the effect for most people just seeing that on his shirt was plenty. They bought it. And then the next thing, let's see, let's remove that. Let's remove this. Let me look at real quick at my images here and see what I have as far as, I think I already used this photo. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to move on to the next portion. What happened next? So the fact that there were no EMTs, no EMS, no ambulance is ludicrous. you would have lesser speakers. I mean, for a high school football game, you've got ambulances on site. There's literally no way that there wouldn't have been right behind that tent. He was like, right behind it was like, there's several SUVs or vehicles right behind it. There would have been an ambulance parked there. I mean, it's just absolutely ludicrous that there was no ambulance. But let's just say there wasn't. So the next thing you get, and this is where this is where, to me, the anomalies really began. The stuff that, like I've said before, like if you woke up this morning at 9 o'clock, you got dressed, you brushed your teeth, you went out, got in your car, drove to the corner store, bought a quart of milk and some eggs, and came home. And then somebody investigated that. That's all they would find, that you got up, brushed your teeth, got dressed, drove to the corner store, bought eggs and milk, came home. There wouldn't be all these anomalies that are unexplained, that don't make sense. It would be really cut and dry, because that's what really happened. You got up, you did that, that was it. So once you start going, wait a minute, well, that doesn't make sense, and that's a contradiction, then you've got a conspiracy, because things aren't adding up. And if something happens a certain way, it only happened that one way. So there wouldn't be all these, well, that's weird. So let's just say somebody forgot to notify EMS that, hey, we have an event today, we're going to need an ambulance on standby. Okay, let's just say somebody dropped the ball. Okay. Now let's go to, and this is where things kind of get weird. So once the shock completes and, his muscles relax and he drops the mic, he rolls off onto the ground. There's only one video I've seen that shows this. And this is another thing. If you've ever watched any of the Turning Point debates he's done for years, Turning Point has two like high quality cameras set up. And one is showing like a 4K close-up of him. It's like on a tripod. It's stationary. It doesn't move. It's just close-up of his head, his torso, his hand with the mic, talking. Any video of him debating, you'll see it's exactly the same. And then they have one on the person who's asking the question. Very bizarre that the one time that apparently they didn't have their high def cameras pointing a close-up of him and a close-up of the person talking, all the video of it is like just somebody on cell phone happens to be like, turns it towards the person asking the question or whatever. That's not how his events go. They're all recorded in, like I said, 4K HD, like professionally shot. And another thing is they're all claiming, and I don't know, maybe it's true, that his wife and children were there at the event. All right. His wife is, well, let's just say she would stand out in the crowd. She's got like waist length blonde hair. I think somebody would have noticed her in some of the footage, like, oh, she's standing right there. There she is. And then, but I've never seen any photo or video where you can say, oh yeah, his wife's right there. Where was she? She was apparently there, but I guess, I don't know, in a press box or VIP. I don't know. But so look at this picture here. There's a few things going on here. First of all, if you've seen the video of this whole thing where they, maybe I should use a different picture first. This one's kind of later in the stage. Let's see if I can get one where it's a little earlier in the, like, I think, let's see, maybe this one. All right. So this also dispels that he was wearing a vest, because you can see his torso here. You see his shirt, the white shirt is pulled up, and it's got, what appears to be blood on it. And it's pulled up, and like his torso is exposed. He's not wearing a vest. The other thing is, I noticed, if you watch this video, is nobody is putting any pressure on the wound. EMTs would have been on it in a second. I mean, first thing they would have done was had pressure on the wound. They would have been trying to stop it with a gauze or like a chest compression. What do they call them? Chest seal. They would have had pressure, and I mean, a t-shirt or a towel, anything. These guys just pick him up like a rag doll, run him out here. So one thing you're going to notice in this photo is look at his shoes. Looks like he just took them off the shelf at Foot Locker. I mean, there's not one drop of anything on these shoes. These shoes are pristine. So that's something that's weird. And I don't know if I have a photo because I zoomed in on a lot of these, but if you follow the video where they do this, so you can see the asphalt here. It's like a tan colored concrete. If you follow him where he's at any given moment back towards, where he was laying down, there's no trail of blood. There's nothing. His arms, I mean, he doesn't seem bloody enough. To me, this screams there was a device. It only had so much blood in it. And, you saw basically all that there was. And once that ran out, that was it. There was no more. There's none dripping, none on his shoes, none on he would have continued bleeding out until, I mean, there's like, what is it? How many liters of blood in a human body? Like 6 or 5 or something like that. There's almost no way his torso, his arms, his shoes, I mean, awfully pristine here, awfully clean. So let's see this photo here. Okay, more anomalies again. The shoes are pristine. If you look on the ground there, there's nothing on the ground. So this woman on the bottom right, who from another angle, there's another camera view of this from kind of like the top left of this frame, but further out, there's somebody else filming. And they show basically the other side of the vehicles, show them carrying him all the way out. You can see this woman on the bottom right from like the first time they show that angle where they're starting to carry him away. She's already standing here. Look where her phone is pointing. And it never changes the entire video. The whole time that they're running him out here and putting him in the vehicle, she's filming straight to the left towards the tent where it all went down. She never rotates that and follows the people carrying him. She never points it at the vehicle here where they're loading him in. And then this other woman here on the left who's running by. So she runs by. It appears, you can't tell for sure, but it appears that she says something to this woman on the right. And the woman on the right just does an about face and follows this other woman, and they exit stage right. They're gone. It's very bizarre. First of all, you would be filming the action. She's in position for the money shot. You would get a still off that video of like, you would see him. So why isn't she filming him and them doing this? This is like a major deal. It's also weird. The person who is filming this from the photo you're looking at, he's standing up on a ledge, like on a different level. It's weird that he's there, like just catching all this from a distance. Notice the woman who's close who would have gotten, like I said, the money shot. She's not even filming what's going on. She's filming, I don't know, this woman running towards her. Like I don't know. We haven't and probably never will see whatever video she recorded. But it wouldn't show much because, like I said, she's not even focused on what, the action. But so to the left where she's filming that way, that's like the back of the tent where he was talking. There's like an archway and stuff. And so you can't see anything if you look that way. It's just kind of like the back of that tent. There's not much to see. So I don't know what she's filming, but why would this person who's filming this, who's on this elevated position, like, why are they there filming? Did they know that? I mean, all the action was way to the left, facing to the left. If you were there to see this, debate and stuff, you would be out front where the crowd was, instead of behind everything, up on almost like waiting to get this footage. It doesn't make any sense. But let's see, we got We got more. A lot of it's all from this. I hope I don't grab the same photos because it's really hard for me to tell which ones I've already pulled up. So, well, here's one we can pull up. This is a zoom in. Again, the sneakers, pristine. Not even the bottoms. I mean, they're just, there's nothing. I mean, those shoes are in really good shape for what they went through, right? Anybody else see it? I don't know. It sounds kind of, it's weird. So let me see if I can find, I've got like a couple more photos of the, I hope I don't get duplicates because there's thumbnails and they're hard to tell. This is a zoom in of like kind of the same thing that shows the torso. Not wearing a bulletproof vest. Again, the shoes look really good. Let's see I think I have, is it just one more? Maybe two. I think, oh, there's several. I'm just going to go through them and see what they are. Again, you can see this woman on the bottom right, her camera. This is where they're stuffing him in the car. They've almost got him all the way in. She's not even pointing towards him. She's pointing, again, way to the left. Makes no sense. Let's see. I'll just keep going. I think that was that one. So this would be, I don't know what this is. The next couple, I'm not quite sure. Okay, again, this just shows how white those shoes are. And what? Look at the woman, her phone. Why is she filming over there? There's nothing over there but like the back side of that tent. I mean, a major event is going down right in front of your face, and you're not even. It's insane. I think there's one more like this, and then let's see. These are just like things that they don't make sense to me. And this one is, again, look where this is when that woman runs by her and says something. And this is like a split second before this lady filming nothing to the left does literally an about face and just, she spins and follows right on the heels of this woman that's running by. Like they're together. Like she follows her. And again, the shoes look wonderful. Let me see. I think there's one more that's just kind of this is just kind of showing that the camera, she's clearly, I mean, that's what's she filming. Like I said, that's the back of the tent over there. And it's a ways away. Like if you see the video where she's standing from kind of the direct where she's filmed, she's almost like she's filming the person that filmed the other angle that shows, you can see her. She's probably, I don't know, 50 feet, maybe a little bit more from that back of that tent. So what she's filming, there's really nothing to film, especially when look what's right to her right. It's like 10 feet away. Nah, I don't need to film that. What's the point of that? This is very suspicious. This is an operative part of it. I wouldn't even say a distraction because she's not doing anything to distract. But what is she documenting? And it doesn't make sense. That one I haven't wrapped my head around exactly what's going on with that. Why she's even there. She's documenting something, but I don't know. So let me see. I think I have some other photos, but it might be, I think it's a different topic. So I'll stick it here, and I'm going to look at there's a lot of comments. I've looked at none of them. So let me scroll through here. Let's see what we got. Yeah, taser by the guy on the grassy knoll. I think he was wired up. I think it was like remotely. I mean, nobody like shot him with a taser. I think he was wired, and it could have been an app on somebody's phone. They just touched the screen and it set it off. I don't know. Yeah, Umbrella Man. Well, there was a guy. I don't have a picture of it. He's, I don't know how to describe it. So like, if you're facing towards the car they took him to, and like where he was laying, you pick him up, and as soon as you start like towards the car, to the left there was a guy kind of up on a grassy knoll. Looked like he was just chilling, and he was filming too. From like, I mean, this is seconds after it happened, and this is behind the action, so you almost have to assume that it was somebody who knew what was going to happen and because like where this guy was standing, you couldn't see any of the debate. He was behind a retaining wall behind the speaker and everything, so like he could see nothing. He could have heard the dialogue being spoken, but he couldn't have seen anything. But it was like he was there just chilling, standing there leaning against the wall, and he was filming too, showing the people carrying him towards the car. But that's not the angle we've seen, so we haven't seen what he was filming. There was a lot of people filming that were in a spot where they wouldn't have been able to catch any of the actual debate. They were behind everything, almost like they were waiting. It's crazy. Hydrostatic shock. I'm not sure what hydrostatic shock is. That's water, right? Hold on. Let me check this out here. Hydrostatic shock is a kind of high velocity bullet creates a radiating pressure. Nah, I don't think so. Not making any claims. I don't think there was a bullet. I think he was shocked. There wasn't and the other thing, okay. So as far as I know, like I said, I haven't followed a lot of the details because I've kind of been drawn to some of the anomalies, but as far as I understand, the narrative is still 30-06. Am I correct on that? If I'm assuming they're saying that the weapon of choice was a 30-06. Okay, that would have blown his head off of his neck. I have a 30-06. That was not a 30-06 wound. Okay, something it would have been carnage. There would have been large chunks blown up, and it would have been a different scene. As bad as that looked, it would have been far, far worse. So if they're lying to you about the caliber used, which is clearly anybody who knows anything about a 30-06, that wasn't it. So why would you think that if you lie to like one aspect of the whole thing, then like the rest of it just goes right out the window. Yeah, like I said, I think an arterial bleed like that would have been way messier even than that was. Yeah, I'm a conspiracy nut because I'm asking questions. I'm not making claims. I'm just saying there's things that don't make sense. Okay. You expect to see certain things when certain things happen. And if you see something the opposite of what you expect, it's only wise to go, well, why? Like, could there be an explanation to why he barely bled at all? Sure, I guess. Maybe he's a quick clotter. I don't know. There wouldn't be an ambulance at a Charlie Kirk talk, really, but there's ambulances at high school football games, boxing matches, but not like the most controversial conservative talking head who gets death threats constantly and is basically standing there in wide open like a target. They wouldn't have an ambulance. Okay. Yeah, that's another thing that's weird is he wasn't that popular. I mean, he was popular amongst that circle, the MAGA crowd, the conservative pundits, the people that believe politics are real. But nationwide, like 90% or more would be like, I don't know what you're talking about. But boy, have they made him like everybody knows who he is now. Very bizarre. Like they're going to make a martyr of him and everything. But like nobody even knew who he was. I mean, the vast majority of the country had no idea. But yeah, there'd be a lot more blood than that. A neck wound. I mean, that's the same thing with the quote unquote ear wound. The ear bleeds like a stuck pig. The ear, especially the top, come on. Uh, ear wound, cuts on the ear bleed like kind of like the forehead. It's just a place where there's a lot of capillaries, and it really makes a mess. There just wasn't, like I said, there was no blood trail. His sneakers are like, they look really nice. Um, yeah, I just, now these are things that I kind of went back and noticed after the fact. Like I said, I was kind of sold on it. Was kind of looked real on the surface level until I really dug into it. But the reason why I looked into it a second time, I haven't gotten to yet. And that's the part that, like, I don't care. You can say whatever you want, but there's something very, very wrong. And a lot of other people, this is very weird. So his, I guess you'll call it memorial service, is going to be held in, I think, Glendale, which is a suburb. It's Phoenix. You got the Phoenix Rising. You've got a lot of symbology with Phoenix. And also it's on the 21st of this month, which just happens to be an eclipse. There's an eclipse on the 21st, and the Phoenix symbology, the eclipse, there's a lot of stuff that's really weird. Let's see. But when somebody's cat died, I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. So I'm just trying to get to the bottom of these comments. So here's another thing people don't really understand is professional assassins don't generally do their job from a distance. It's almost always up close and personal. They'll use a patsy to make people, like a misdirection, to make somebody, think that somebody from a distance, or it came from a distance. Generally, they don't want to. A professional would eliminate every possible thing that they can to ensure the job is done. Now, I'm not saying that he was assassinated, because things are starting to make it look like maybe not so much. But the patsy being some kid from 150 yards or 200 yards, wherever he was at, first of all, no, he wouldn't have hit a shot that I think even the angle, I mean, it would have been like the miracle shot for somebody, especially somebody who apparently wasn't really a marksman. I don't think that, I mean, aside from the fact that on second look, it doesn't seem legit. I mean, a rifle from that, like I said, there would have been more damage, and I don't think they would have made the shot. And I think it would have been, they might have, maybe put somebody up on the roof as the patsy, but the actual individual responsible would have been 10, 20 feet away. But I don't think even that happened. I think the whole thing was misdirection and theatrics. Can I prove it? No. But now I'm going to get to the point or to the part where I tell you why I even looked back into it. Because I was kind of satisfied, like, yeah, he was wearing a vest. Somebody took him out, intelligence operation, blah, 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 and move on. Because I wanted to focus on where this was headed until this individual came onto the scene. I don't even know where to begin here. Nothing that this individual has been a part of has seemed real. It has not seemed honest. It has not seemed legit. Boy, like I said, there's and I think there's going to be more and more and more things coming out regarding this individual that raise some eyebrows. Okay. Now, I've even seen, I'm not going to make claims, like I said, but I've seen photos of him with his wife, and it doesn't even, some of the photos, not all of them, some of them appear to be this woman. Some of them, let's just say, doesn't look like the same person as this individual. You know, I don't know, hair, makeup, maybe they, you know, she did herself up different that day. I don't know. Now, this photo has been used by a lot, saying that, oh, it's, you know, Duper's Delight. She's smiling and laughing, kind of the Robbie Parker thing. Yeah, possibly. I don't know. I found this, I guess you'd call it a press conference, extremely disturbing. I couldn't watch it all. I think I lasted, I don't know, 2 minutes. So I don't know like where this comes from in the video. I don't know if this is just a freeze frame. All the normal, the way she was ending her sentences in that really bizarre whisper, which she also used at the quote unquote viewing, which we'll get into shortly. It's just not how people talk. It seemed very forced and badly acted. It was weird. She's wearing a really bizarre outfit. She's apparently, allegedly, former Miss Arizona. She's young. I think she's still in her 20s. Very bizarre clothing choice. It looks like that David Byrne Talking Heads, like same as it ever was, like that giant suit. It's just the color combo. Just, I don't know. I mean, that's like nitpicky. I mean, clearly somebody dressed her because she was clearly too traumatized. She just doesn't look like somebody who's been like in mourning for 24 or 48 hours, because this happened like soon after, which is another red flag. Most people, if you lost somebody in that manner, wouldn't be up for a public appearance. The whole thing seemed very staged and scripted, and she did that whole, you know, this chair, it was like Charlie's chair. This chair's not empty, you know, like it just got really weird. And then she made like some threat, like, you think you won when you haven't seen nothing yet. Like she's gonna become like, what's her name? Joan of Arc, or like she's gonna go on a woman crusade and just like, I don't know. It was very weird, and the whole whispery thing she was doing seemed forced and odd. Now, you know, maybe, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like I said, who knows? And then it got weirder. Like that wasn't bad enough. That little weird press conference thing she did. Then she posts on her Instagram. It's this stuff. This is what, okay. Remember at the beginning of the video where I said, like, if they had left it alone at the event, maybe, but it's like they can't help themselves and they keep, like, then they start adding and pushing stuff. Yeah, that, you're right on that video, that presser or whatever. I don't know what it was supposed to be. Where it was just a heartstring thing where they show you like where he did his podcast from, and you're supposed to go, oh, that was Charlie's chair. She was not wearing the right colors, like you said. I mean, the outfit itself is goofy, but I mean, like you said, that's not the color for mourning. You don't wear like, what was it? Like buff or whatever, like a cream colored men's sports coat that's like too big for you. It doesn't, it's weird. Then they come out with this, and this just got weird. To post this to your Instagram, of course, we've got the button undone, makes no sense. The hands, I mean, come on. One thing that I noticed, it's not just that the hands don't look real. And of course, all the, you know, armchair undertakers and morticians come out of you've never seen a dead body. Okay, I've seen plenty in caskets, out of caskets. I had my own dad die in my house, okay, and I had to deal with him until, the authorities finally arrived. So it took a while. So yeah, don't give me this. You just don't know. Okay. This, I'm sorry. Those aren't real hands. I could be wrong. It's weird that they made him gold. And who was it? Was it Charlie himself talked about ushering in the golden age? Same thing Trump says. Got usher in this golden age. And he's like, they paint him gold or whatever. One thing I noticed, I don't know if this is the photo that really shows it. Of course, the ring, come on. Now they're getting crazy. Again, that hand is, come on. There's no wrinkles. There's no hair. There's no follicles. I mean, you could even say, well, they shaved his hand. Okay, let's say you'd still have like, I mean, come on. You'd see follicles. There'd be like, everybody has wrinkles on their joints. I mean, this is just like, and look at the color. Again, it's gold. It doesn't make sense. Now, her ring, they made a point for you to see the big G. I mean, come on. There's people going, oh, it stands for Gigi, one of their kids. I'm like, well, where's the one for the other kid? Like, that kid just got screwed. Just wore a ring for the one kid. Doesn't make sense. The ring, the gold, is the same color as the skin, his skin. I mean, or whatever that is, the latex, the silicone, whatever that is. It's like a matching color. She's got 2 rings, same color, same as the skin. The big G. It stands for God. Well, no. I mean, come on. It's put there. You're supposed to see it. It's ludicrous. And then she's whispering that same whisper she did at the presser. I love you. I love you. You know, it's just super weird and creepy. And she posts it to her Instagram. I think I have more pictures here that don't make any sense. Oh, this one here. If you watch the video, it's even more glaring. But so look at this photo. Now really look at it. First of all, look at the hand on the top, like the fingers. I mean, come on. This isn't real. But here's what I noticed. So he was 6'5", and she's listed at, I think, 5'7", maybe 5'8". 9 to 10 inches shorter than him. Look at the hand size. Her hand's bigger than his. He's 6'5", and she's a 5'7" girl. Now, you can't say perspective. She's touching his hand. How is her hand bigger than the hand of a 6'5" male? To me, there's a problem here. Again, like I was saying, if something happens a certain way, it's real. There's no discrepancies. A 5'7", 5'8" woman having hands as large or larger than a 6'5" man. I mean, I don't know where you I mean, sure, you can make whatever excuse you want, but if you watch the video of this that she posted on her Instagram, because why wouldn't you? You can really see, this is just a freeze frame from the video, but like when her hands are, when it's moving, you can really tell that there is a size discrepancy in hand size, which, I don't know. Sure. If that's, again, we got this here, now, see how she's got wrinkles on her knuckles, like where the knuckles are, and even between the knuckle and the fingernail, there's that other joint there. There's wrinkles. She's like 26 years old or whatever she is. She's like a young girl. His are smooth as butter. Yeah, I know they put makeup on cadavers, but they don't put like putty filling on the skin grooves. Like they don't spackle in the wrinkles. They just try and take the discoloration away by, with some foundation. If you think that's a real hand, fine, but compare it to hers. Don't even look at the color. Just look at the texture. I mean, look at the wrinkles on her knuckles and okay, sure, you can believe what you want to believe. Let's see what else. I got more. Again, that ring, that was supposed to be seen. That is, why? I don't know. I'm not like one of those individuals, but clearly you're supposed to get a good shot of that ring for whatever reason. I don't know if it's they're signaling each other or whatever. And then you got the I mean, come on. Now, yes, when you're wearing a suit, you undo the buttons when you sit down, and when you stand up, you button it again. That's kind of how wearing a suit, that's like etiquette. You undo usually all the buttons, but at least the bottom button when you sit, so that your stomach doesn't put strain on the bottom button and pop it or make it uncomfortable to sit like that. So you do, but like this again, it's not a detail. I mean, even if like, let's say the mortician forgot to button the bottom button, somebody before the Instagram video was being filmed, even like the quote unquote wife or whoever was standing over her shoulder filming, which is creepy. Somebody would have said, oh, this the button, somebody would have called this out. This is supposed to be seen. It was supposed to be undone like that. What it means, I don't know. Probably some esoteric, occultic. I don't know. Don't care, because that whole thing is weird. So the way she acts and all that, none of it made sense. Her behavior, doing these public things, like right on the tail of losing your quote unquote husband. So I'm like, oh, okay. So, well, let me look real quick and make sure I get this in the right order. I think I have it in the right order. So I looked into her a little bit. Now, onomastics is the study of proper names, including their etymology, history, and use. A lot of it has to do with surnames. So like you can take the name like, Williamson or something, and it'll give you, kind of the history where it came from, the etymology, what the name used to be, whatever. Okay. So her maiden name, I'm not even going to try and pronounce it because it's like a nonsense word. It makes no sense. But I'll pull it up here. So what I did was I was like, I wonder if she's got some like sketchy, like where's she come from? Like where's her family, her ancestry? So I put in her name and I put in her last name, and then I wrote like surname, history, or etymology or whatever. And this is what I got. I mean, it's weird. So that's her name, her surname. Can't even pronounce it. It's like I said, it's like a nonsense name. The meaning of this surname is not listed. Okay. Now it's weird. I cut it off right down here, but it says, and I don't know, this forebears.com, apparently this is what they do. They tell you what names mean. I've never heard this name before. So this website that does surnames has never even heard of this one. It says over here, it's the 4,427,875th most common surname in the world, which, maybe. But right below that, it said like they found like 20 people in the world with this surname. And so you'd have to imagine that like, I don't know, 5, 10, a quarter or a half are probably her relatives. So like, I don't know if it can be the 4 millionth most common surname when there's only like 20 people on Earth with this surname. And like I said, probably a quarter of them or more are directly somehow related to her. So it's a very bizarre last name, basically almost unheard of. And like I said, I wouldn't even try and pronounce it. I have no idea what that says. But then I found a little bit more. I think there's one more of this. Is this the one? Okay. The surname nonsense is not widely recognized and may be a rare variation or a misspelling, as most information points to the name France, which originates from German and Latin roots and means Frenchman or free man. Okay, so again, AI is saying that like this might be a misspelling. Like this name it's a nonsense name. So that's weird. So not only was she Miss Arizona, and I think it was like 2018, somewhere in there, but in the pageant where she was Miss Arizona, her boss of the pageant. Take a guess at who it was. Come on, somebody take a guess at who her boss was when she was Miss Arizona. I'll tell you, it was Trump. So Trump was her boss, and there was something else to do with. There was also a connection with, I think it was her dad. Anyway, something. So she also apparently, before she even met Chuck, who she met through the pageant, through Turning Point USA, and that's kind of one of those stories that's like, it's a little sus. But apparently she was already like a millionaire when she met Charlie as Miss America, or not even Miss America, Miss Arizona. She was already a millionaire because she had started some sort of like Christian foundation in Romania. I believe it was Romania, where she had some foundation that she ran, which just happened to have ties to, what do you say? I know I have to abbreviate this. CST, Child ST. Apparently, a bunch of kids have gone missing in this area where her Christian organization was running out of Romania. Not making any claims, just weird. And there was something else. So she was already wealthy. She worked for Trump. I think it was her dad or somebody. I wish I could remember. It was like they were something to do with like helping build something, or I don't know. It's sus. It's very weird. Surname or forename or whatever.com has never heard of this last name. AI thinks it's probably a misspelling. Very sus. I'll just tell you what I think, because like I said, I wish I had written down. There's a few other things that are just very suspect. Again, not making claims. I have no proof. When you take everything I have learned about her so far, I'm just going to use the word handler. It appears that she was his handler. I think she was placed in a position. It kind of sounds like he met her, thought she was pretty, and blah blah blah, and some friends or some people in their circle kind of pushed him like, you should probably like ask her out on a date, or you should, it seems like there was a little coercion, like maybe, I don't know, comes across as a handler. She doesn't seem too legit. I saw her described recently as currently the most powerful woman in America. I mean, I guess that's a low bar, but don't be surprised if you see her running for something, some sort of office, governor, senator, congresswoman, something. I'm just saying, don't be shocked. But I'm just going to say, just from discernment and watching, she does not appear to be what she's being portrayed as the grieving widow. Everybody's supposed to have, a lot of empathy, and the poor. Her behavior with Instagram and the fact that I don't think that was him in that casket. I mean, those don't appear to be real hands, or even the correct size hands. There's a lot of weird stuff. The G, the color, the button undone, her weird whispering, posting stuff to Instagram that should be very personal and private. The weird press conference she does, where again, a lot of that weird whispering seemed like really bad acting. At first, I thought maybe she was fearful, like she had been threatened and was being basically forced to act this way. Now, no. Knowing a little bit more about, she worked for Trump, and, just a lot of, the last name is very weird, almost like they made it up. May even be a character that she's playing with, I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to go down. See, I think that's all want to make sure I got all the slides, if you want to call it that, in. Yeah, I think so. I'm just saying. So, like I said, I initially kind of bought the fact that he was offed. I thought that the way I knew that they were going to blame it on like a patsy, and that part would be, and we'd never know, that part would be all fake. But I did think he was probably most likely, like I said, a lot of times it's easier just to off somebody than to go through an elaborate thing and have to cover it up for years or whatever. The reason I don't think he was offed is because I don't think they're going to have to cover this up for very long. I think the plans they have, it's not going to matter if they can come right out and tell you who did 9/11, Kennedy, whatever, because the plans they have for the future of this country, which I'm talking 2 to 3 years probably max, it's not going to matter if you know all the truth. Charlie himself could come out and go, gotcha, and nobody's going to be able, because internment camps are already being spoken of. Trump's already talked about putting the homeless, if they don't, and this is crazy because he's talking about literally rounding up all the homeless and giving them a choice. Well, not really putting them in a camp. He literally said like tent cities or camps, and giving them a choice between rehabilitation or prison, which is like his alligator Alcatraz, that kind of thing. And you got to, look, he's basically trying to paint this picture that all homeless people are drug addicts and degenerates. A lot of people are just displaced because they lost their job. Things are too expensive. A lot of the homeless are not drug addicts and crazy people. They're people who got displaced because of the economy, losing a job. Maybe they had a medical situation that drained, they had no money. But that's not the route they're going. It looks like, and my guess is, quote unquote, illegal immigrants, homeless, the radical left, who either already basically is or will soon be, I think, labeled domestic terrorists. They passed another anti-Semitic law during the Kirk thing. They passed 2 laws while all that chaos was going on the same day. One was an anti-Semitic bill where you can be basically, if you're considered an anti-Semite, you can be rounded up. And also, they voted to not release the Epstein files, all on the same day that this event went down. They are going to start with, like I said, illegal immigrants, homeless, the loony left, as basically people they can round up. And of course, the MAGA, they'll be like, yeah, because they think that every brown person is here illegally, that every Democrat or leftist or whatever is insane. And so, yeah, rounding them up, go for it. It's like, and the homeless, because they're unsightly, So they'll be fine with it. Yeah, round them up, put them in a camp. I don't care. All these, remember the Walmart FEMA camps? Those didn't just go away. They just stopped talking about them. They have a lot of places set up to put people. Let's just put it that way. And Trump made a deal with the president of El Salvador. I think it's El Salvador, to build multiple prisons. I think it's 5. They're building prisons, not for Salvadorans, no, for Americans that are rounded up. So, and like I said, and the MAGA cult will be cheering it on until all those people have been rounded up, and they're pretty much all that's left. And now it's their turn. What are they going to do? Half the country's already been locked up, so it's not like they're going to have the numbers to like really put up much of a fight. So anyway, I don't think they care if you find out that this was a psychological operation. I don't think they care if you find out that COVID was. They're not going to care. Soon, it's not going to matter. They're not going to have to keep secrets, because it's like, what are you going to do about it? And if you do speak out about it, you're either an anti-Semite or you're a leftist crazy person, radical, that needs to be rounded up. So I think they're pretty close to the point where they don't have to hide any of this stuff anymore. We'll see. I could be wrong. All right. Anyway, God bless. Take care. Bye.